So, good morning, folks. Today I'm going to tell you about intermittent fasting. This guy only eats when he's hungry. Aren't you coffee? Yes, good morning. Anyway, so you probably have heard the word IF or intermittent fasting, and there is mixed emotions associated with this, particularly the word fasting. And a lot of my patients and even doctors think fasting is bad for health, which is, I want to say swear words, but which is untrue, very, very untrue. In fact, every human, when they sleep, they fast. And that's why it's called breakfast, when you wake up and eat something. So fasting is bad for health, is total crap. Now I have said it. So normally when you sleep, you're supposed to sleep 8 hours. So everybody's doing IF or intermittent fasting for 8 hours anyway. So should we extend that 8-hour fast into so-called the gold standard of 16-hour fast? And if we have to do that, I'm going to go into why we should do that. If we have to do that, should we extend that extra 8 hours, split it 4 hours in the evening, 4 hours in the morning, so that when you wake up, say standard 6 o'clock, that's when majority of the productive people wake up, should we extend our fast until 10 a.m. and then break our fast and go to bed with empty stomach for 4 hours, so that this split of 4 hours before you hit your sack, that means suppose you are hitting your sack at 10 o'clock, that's your 8-hour sleep, 10, 11-ish, 10 o'clock for calculation's sake. That means you should not be eating from 6 o'clock, right? So your last calorie through your mouth should be 6 p.m. You hit your bed at 10 p.m. You wake up at 6 a.m., giving you 8 hours of sleep. And then you don't eat anything calorie-wise. You can have non-calorie stuff like tea and coffee and water. Although tea and coffee might have like extremely minuscule of calories, but forget about that. Tea and coffee and water, fine. But no calories for total of 16 hours. So that's a laboratory definition, research definition, popular definition of intermittent fasting. Now, I don't know whether you know about any benefit of intermittent fasting, but think without Googling and without going to social media, what might be the benefit of fasting? Why every single religion preaches fasting for spiritual cleansing, although science was not there at those days, so people were more talking about spiritual cleansing. But does it do any other type of cleansing? I don't know whether you know about who won the Nobel Prize in 2016 and popularized this concept of autophagy, meaning cleansing. Every single cell in the body, our body is made up of tissues like muscle tissues, bone tissues, then your heart muscles, then your skeletal tissue, then your nervous tissue, nervous system, brain, etc. Every single tissue is made up of a building block of cell. So inside the cell, craps accumulate. Okay, so this is why I'm showing you this. So in a busy household like ours, like yours, there will be some activity which is called metabolism, which is a sum total of anabolism, like meaning growth, and catabolism, breakdown, and there'll be some byproducts formed as a result of that. So because of the past cooking, past eating, these are the byproduct. Now, body will not throw it out. Body will store it inside the cell in case if I need it. No, and we might need this, and I will need some of these products today to cook. But what happens, see how disorganized it was. It was like kind of cramping everything. And when it is urgent activity happening in the house, in the body will just throw away stuff. Okay, you go, I don't want it now, I don't want it now. And then the whole system is disorganized, number one. Two, some of the products may be harmful because it is decaying and rotting. Everything has got an expiry date, right? So one is disorganized storage. I'm talking about cell. I'm not talking about my kitchen, okay? Disorganized storage of the material in the cell. Two, toxic stuff we call free radicals inside the cell causing damage, and those free radical or active species, or call it destructive stuff, will generate as a result of chemical equation inside the cell. As you know, all chemical equations potential is either reduction process or oxidation process. Mostly what is it? Oxidation. We don't reduce, we do oxidize. You breathe in oxygen, lung full of air, oxygen goes, holding hand of hemoglobin in the red blood cell into all the tissues, and then we burn that oxygen. Sorry, we don't burn the oxygen, we burn the food with the help of oxygen to generate heat and capture that heat into ATP, the energy molecule inside the mitochondria. And when we need the energy back, like contracting muscles, heart pumping, intestine moving, kidney filtering urine, intestine absorbing nutrients with active transport, sodium channels and stuff, and then your brain sending impulses. These are all action potentials, sodium, potassium. All this needs energy, and this energy comes from sun, and sun gives it to the plants. Plants gives it to the animals. And whether you are herbivores or carnivores, or you're non-vegetarian, vegetarian, ultimately it's all the energy from the sun. And we capture it in ATP, adenosine triphosphate molecule, inside mitochondria, inside the cell. So coming back to the problem in the cell, this one, disorganized storage, you can call it hoarding, because you are scared of throwing it away in case if I need it, number one. Two, it is rotting or going beyond their expiry date. That means oxygen free radical species which you don't want inside the cell. It is damaging your DNA, damaging your genes, and potentially forming cancers and mutant DNAs. And three, in many population of the world, definitely Western and some parts of the developing countries, because in developing countries there's aggregation or segregation of wealth. Some poor people, they are not eating enough, and some people, they're eating so much they're dying from heart attack and obesity and fatty liver and diabetes. So three things to remember: overaccumulation inside the cell, accumulation of toxic stuff inside the cell, and disorganized accumulation inside the cell. So how do you get rid of this? Think. What is the answer? Do not feed anything. Okay? So when you do that, one, you give your gut rest. And not only gut, all the glands that have to work really hard to secrete all the digestive juice and rest. Imagine if you are working all the time, there is no Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no rest, no sleep. How would you feel? How would you feel? So give your gut rest. Do not eat. Extend your fasting, not just during sleep. Do not wake up and start eating and thinking that eating is very good for health. It is not. So the Nobel Prize winner, doctor from Japan, I keep forgetting his name because his name is very difficult to say. I'll remember and I will say maybe during the video. So he proved that if you incite autophagy by fasting, not starvation, which is a bad word. You want to eat, you're hungry and you can't eat. That's bad. But fasting, which is deliberate, is extremely beneficial. And this has been historical. I mean, human are human today, the Homo sapiens, because we fasted, although not by choice, because there was no food, and then we feasted. So fasting and feasting, fasting and feasting. So human body has become very adaptable that we immediately during the feast, which is very, very important for our survival. Not now. Now it is killing us. We extract everything from that and store it. Store it like I'm never going to let go of this. Hoard it. And then when the fasting will come, and it will come because like 10,000 years ago, there was no cultivation, no kitchen, no McDonald's, no Tesco's. And then my body will release it. But now, because we are eating 24/7 almost, I know people sometimes wake up in the middle of night and go to their fridge and have a cookie and stuff like that. So we are not giving rest. Okay. So every time you eat, which is predominantly again carbohydrate, your insulin spikes. And those doctors who are still telling, and dietitians who are still telling, eat as many meals as you possible, multiple small meals, they are not doing justice to you. Those are only needed for an extremely selected group of patients who are really malnourished, yeah, like very, very low BMI, and they cannot eat a big meal. Obviously, for them, we drip feed, little food, little food, little food. But 99.99% of the general population, even the hospitalized patient, do not eat that multiple small feed. And I can challenge anybody, any dietitian or nutrition expert who is objecting to this. And there are studies showing that in acute illness, sometimes feeding them increases their mortality rather than not giving them food for the first 24 hours, 48 hours, or giving them minimal amount of food. Yes, hydration is important. Yes, correcting their electrolytes is extremely important. Yes, treating their sepsis is important, but calorie is not important unless they're extremely low or very, very deficient. Because majority of our hospitalized patients, I have just kind of done a walking survey, like I sometimes walk in a ward on a weekend just to see what kind of population we are treating. How old are they? How active they are looking, like in terms of engaging, the eyes are blank or eyes are focused, because you have got young people, young patients, old patients, demented patient from care home, patient who are actively fit and healthy, just something happened like this, like, like a pneumonia or IBD flare up and stuff. So, okay, 10 minutes, 58 seconds, I have to round up. So, fasting is very good. We have always fasted, and this is the month of Ramadan, as you know, and tomorrow probably Ramadan will end with Eid. I think tomorrow is 2nd of May, and I'm not Muslim, but I have been following the full Ramadan protocol, as I call it. It's an intermittent fasting protocol that the sun rises, you don't eat after that. Yeah, so it's called pre-dawn meal or sahari or suhoor. I may be saying it wrong. So you eat that, and unfortunately, I don't feel hungry, so I don't eat anything. So I'm now to OMAD, O-M-A-D, 1 meal a day. So then you don't eat anything, including no water. And I'm coming to water next. And then when the sun sets, you do your Maghrib prayer, and then you have your iftar, okay? And you break your fast very gently, because some of my Muslim friends, they say that they have seen in the community that they will eat a lot because they're scared that I might not have, but that's a small minority of people, and similar kind of situation probably will be in every community and every religion, that some are scared that, oh, I need to eat more, a lot more. So don't do that. Yeah, you don't need to eat a lot more. Anyway, and then you go to sleep and you fast until the sun rises again. Now, with regards to intermittent fasting, you know that you're going to eat in 8 hours window, which is kind of this, and then do not eat in 16 hours window, which is kind of this. But scientific question is, why 8? Why not 9? Why not 10? And I'm going to do a second video about where this golden 8 hours come. And then should it be nighttime 8 hours that we are going to eat, like one meal at 8 p.m., which is currently it's 8:30. Is that the good thing to do, or should it be in the morning time when you're up and active? And that's a second research question. And third is, can I include everything? Because my body is like sponge. Can I eat everything in my fast, like carbohydrate, fat, bad fat, good fat? Nobody questions bad fat, because sometimes you want to eat bad stuff. It's again in our DNA, because humans didn't have good stuff. And if I see anything which is important for my survival, I'll do it. Now, while I do, I have forgotten. Let me quickly show you something. So I'm making my own whey protein. So whey is one of the purest form of protein that you can have. And I'm putting citric acid. So citric acid is like any citrus food that you eat. So it will curdle my... Can you see what is happening? Now the casinogen is separated from the milk. So now the milk has got the whey, which is the water, which is extremely nutritious thing, which some people throw away in the sink. You shouldn't. And then the kernel. So this solid bit is used to make cheese, and the leftover in the cheese factory, this liquid water, is the whey. But you cannot just eat it like that or drink it like that. You have to make whey in a special way. I'm not going to talk about that. But remember, the whey doesn't come from this solid bit, because there are a lot of parents, particularly in India, they think this is the most nutritious stuff. Yeah, the more nutritious is actually this water. But how to separate that nutritious whey, that one of the purest kind of protein, mostly the essential amino acid, leucine, isoleucine, and was it arginine? There are 3 essential amino acids that our body cannot synthesize. You have to take it from outside. Similarly, there are essential fatty acid, but do you know what is not essential? There is no essential glucose or fructose or carbohydrate. All kind of glucose and fructose we can make in our body from protein and fat. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up because it's 14 minutes 59 seconds. So I'm going to do a second series about why intermittent fasting, why fasting is so important, and we should all fast. Not just during sleep, extend our fast, particularly if weight is an issue, if type 2 diabetes is an issue, if inflammatory arthritis is an issue, if cancer is an issue, and provided you are not malnourished or underweight, then obviously everything changes. So any medical advice or any kind of health advice, you have to take into perspective. Don't just blindly follow because a doctor who is very passionate is telling you that, which I am. Go research. You can, anybody should and could research. But don't do research from social media though, okay? Do not do that. Do a proper research. And if you want to know how to do what we call citizens research, find out. Everybody can do research and should do research and make your own decisions based on your personal culture, food choices, your particular situation, access to food, all of this needs to be factored in. So you cannot just say, do this or do that. Okay, does it make sense? So today my wife will be so happy, so happy. Do you know why? Because she will not notice half of the stuff is missing, because I'm going to throw it in the bin. Yeah, because we don't need it. That's what happened in intermittent fasting. Our body destroys. It's called autophagy. Auto means we. Phagy means eat. We are eating our own body parts. That means it sounds very horrible, but it's not. So inside the cell, we collect all this bad stuff that we are not using and we eat it. We digest it and destroy it. And the other part we'll just organize nicely. Yeah, organized cupboard. You can easily access. Oh, there's a sugar there. Oh, this is this clove there. This is the spice there. Okay, and that happens when you do intermittent fasting. Does it make sense? And all of this is actually a stress. When you fast, it's a stress to the body. So this stress actually cleans the body and the cells. Similarly, another stress which I'm very fascinated about is heat stress, sauna, extremely beneficial. Cold stress, cryotherapy, extremely beneficial, but you need to know how to do it. Then oxygen deprivation stress. It's so interesting. If you put a high altitude mask and then run, depriving your oxygen supply, your body goes to a severe stress because there's no oxygen, and then body adapts. So all these kind of stresses are called hormetic stress, hormesis. Yeah, a small stress that doesn't kill you make you stronger. This is a fundamental principle. I'm going to stop now. It's 17 minutes for. I have exceeded my time budget. Have a nice, lovely day. Today is Laborers' Day, 1st of May, 2022. And I'm going to make some whey. Have a lovely day.